welcome to the super fantastic, awesome cable access Hopewell School show. We have a very interesting program for you today, and we're going to be starting off by showing some clips from the Music Man rehearsal. Now, what we're going to be showing now, as I said, clips from the Music Man rehearsal, taped on February 22nd after school in the auditorium. And this play was directed by Ms. Corelli and Mrs. Woodberg. And here we show Michael Pugh and Josh Robinson, stars of the Saturday night cast. I think it was a very interesting play. There's Josh Robinson strutting himself off, but Michael Pugh who was on the left, was the lead in the play. He played
Harold Hill.
Harold
He
Hill,
played Harold
who
Hill.
was
Saturday night cast.
Yes, who was a salesman trying to dupe the town into buying a band. Now the costumes also for this play were by Mrs. Pugh and Mrs. Ludwig. And since it was a musical, the orchestra was led by Ms. Morris. And speaking on a kind of related topic.
Yeah, actually, the next clips that we have are from the actual Music Man itself. Now, I think this is the opening scene for the Music Man, and we're going to see a lot of good stuff here.
Why, it's Model T for me. They're telling me that people want to get up and go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 22, 23 miles to the county seat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who's gonna patronize a little bitty 2x4 kind of store anymore?
What do you talk? Where do you get it? Not the Model T at all. Take a gander at the store, at the margarine store, at the present day store, at the present day margarine departmentalized grocery store. What do you talk? Where do you get it?
All right, and I actually taped that one.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
So you went to see the play?
Yes, it was a very good play. It was a lot.
What was that? That was the Saturday night cast, right?
Yes, that was the Saturday night cast.
I went to see the Friday night, and I thought they were good. I went opening night. They did
Oh,
a
really?
good job.
I went on closing night.
Did you?
Yeah, so.
That must have been nice.
I
They
thought
give
it
all
was
the
very well
dedications.
done, a lot better than most of the plays I'd seen, so I really thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I had free tickets.
Great. Well,
Okay.
next thing that we have is?
The jazz band, and I think Graciela is, okay, no, I'm going to be introducing this one.
Yes.
Okay, this is a taping of the jazz band, and the performance we're going to be shown took place on March the 1st at the Quaker Bridge Mall. Now, the jazz band has 22 members. They got in by tryouts earlier this year. The jazz band has its own homeroom to practice, and this event was sponsored by the Mercer County Education Association. This clip, at the top left, you see David Oles, and in the bottom right, you saw Stephen Bristol. And some other people in the homeroom include Justin Jones, Mike Pugh, and Bobby Jackson.
Yes, Bobby Jackson. Now, did you mention they do have their own homeroom?
Yes, they do
And
have their
they
own
also
homeroom.
practice on different days.
Another performance that they had recently was they performed at Pennington Day.
That's right. You told me about it. I think you went to see it, right?
Oh yes, it was a very interesting performance.
I missed that performance. It was because I had to work. That's what it was.
Hard at work, Graciela.
That's me. I'm always working.
But now we're going to be moving on, and I think what we're going to be moving on to
is the Night of the Performing Arts. Now, here we have Dave.
Well, his bag's really over his head, so we can't get
and
it.
I can't say it. Dave Upperco and Mike Styler. And what really is Night of Performing Arts is really a way for the kids, to show off their acting and their singing and their dancing skills and stuff like that. And this was also organized by Mrs. Corelli. Now she's the performing arts teacher in this case. And,
very musically oriented.
Yeah, very. And they practice these things during class time, and for weeks before the event. I actually took the class for
It's
three
a very
years
interesting
in a
class,
row. Yeah, 3 years in a row, and I loved that class. It was a lot of fun, and I started taking it this year until I couldn't do it anymore because of the schoolwork and all those things. And
Well, that's unfortunate because I would have been glad to take your spot.
Well, why didn't you?
I guess I just don't have the performing skills.
Oh.
Oh, wait a
There
minute,
you
I'm
go.
going to never mind. Now we're going to be moving on to a more sports-oriented theme, the boys' freshman basketball team. And this taping that we're going to be showing you took place on March 24th, and it was located here at home, the Hopewell gym. There at the tip-off, you saw Jimmy Gilroy, tipping it. And the coach of the team was Mr. Loesch, and this taping was done by Bobby Mermet. And some of the better players on the team include Zach Byer, Matt Barrett, and here Jimmy Gilroy was unfortunately schooled.
Oh,
tough
poor
break
thing.
there.
Tough break.
And
That's
the
all
team
right.
we're playing against right now is Montgomery, one of our rivals. We're going to be showing a couple more games with Montgomery coming up a little later. And I think we're going to be moving on
To
junior
JV varsity. Actually, the JV varsity junior basketball was also against Montgomery on the same day, the 24th, and it was also here at Hopewell. It was a home game. The coach is Mr. Mike DeCook, and some of the JV players are Greg Ashukian, Matt Boyle, Adam Buck, Mike Donatel, and many others. This is taped by Justin Morrison, who happens to be on the varsity team.
Yes, he's too good for these guys.
Yeah. Noah, have you ever actually been to one of these games?
Oh, yes. I think they're great, but whenever I go, they seem to lose. So I figured I was being a jinx.
Some kind of jinx.
Yes.
I actually went a long
I really
time
enjoyed
ago.
them, and a couple.
And they won.
Yes.
Did a good job.
I went
we
to a
won.
couple. I went
For
to a
long time
couple.
we won.
Yeah,
I
I went to a couple games, and last year I went to several games when Grant Bilmar was on the team, but he deserted us. Evil man that he is.
It's sad.
But
Yeah.
this was a very interesting game. I think it went to overtime, but we're
This
going
one?
to be yes.
I think so too. Was not the varsity.
Oh yes, that's varsity.
Yeah, it
But
was
now
varsity
we're going to
overtime.
be moving on now. We're moving on to for a complete change of pace. The varsity basketball
Varsity
team.
basketball.
Yes, and this squad is the squad that includes Justin Morrison, who is on our team. Is
And
on our
actually
class.
helping us produce this very show.
Yes. And
Behind the
this
scenes
game
there.
was also against Montgomery. It was also taped on March the 24th. And the coach of the team is Tony Mormile. And the captains of the team are Mike Jackson and Matt Katz, one of our very fine stars on the team. But you can't also not include Justin Morrison on the list. He's got a game. I've seen him play. He schools everyone. He's just unstoppable. You can't. And here's Matt Katz. He scores on the perimeter.
A lot of the other players here are lots of seniors, which are leading
Like
us
John
this
Clare,
year. Yeah,
he's
and
leading
Jed
us.
Dooley, and Rob Kuznacki, Leon Redding. They're
Yeah.
very good players.
And Justin Morrison. Yeah.
Well, he's a junior.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah, but Justin,
you have to get his
Justin's
name
got
out.
game.
Yeah.
Justin's got game.
You can't stop him. You
You
can only
can't.
hope to
He's
contain him.
unstoppable. Please. Definitely.
All right, so now we're moving on to the Wrestling District Championships, and I think Graciela is going to be introducing this.
Yeah, this is actually at the Hunterdon Central High School gym, and the coach is Mr. Barber, and the assistant coach is Mr. Bird.
Barber and Bird.
Barber and Bird, yeah. Here we have the wrestling itself. Some of the, you were explaining this to me the other day. It's like they go and they wrestle.
Yes, I think I'll explain it to the
Yeah,
public.
because I'm not very good at it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The wrestlers in these, district championships
Yeah.
compete for places in the regionals, and you have to place third or higher to get a spot. Now, we did have one person who was able
It
to,
was Joe Griffin.
Joe Griffin, and Kerry Washman here. He placed fourth.
But Joe Griffin placed third.
Yes, Joe Griffin placed third, and so he was able to get a spot in the regionals. And
That's
he's
pretty good. That's
very,
good for
very good
us,
wrestler.
yeah.
And it was also taped by Erica Hartman, who is also
Also
a
a
wrestler,
wrestler, and-
of the team.
And in our team here too, producing this. And the next thing that we go to is
It's
I
coming up
think-
soon.
yeah.
It's the week,
Week
of
of
politics,
Politics, and now
political
Noah is
song performance. Yes, I'm
gonna
going to be
help us with
introducing
that.
this one. And this political song performance took place on March 8th here at the Hopewell gym. Not the Hopewell Auditorium. And it was taped by Graciela Leal here and Allison Denby. And the week of politics was just a gathering to show students, more politically oriented themes and have, some debates. And one thing that they did was they had political song performances of songs that have influenced politics throughout the ages. Now, the song that is going to be performed now, which is going to be performed by Mr. Roland and Mr. Seltzer, is "The Times They Are A-Changing," and we're going to go to that now.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, you better start swimming or you will sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin. There's a battle outside and it's raging, and the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing.
Back to the show. A little caught up in that performance.
Yeah.
Mr. Roland was the lead singer, and Mr. Seltzer was playing the
Seltzer was the
harmonica.
harmonica.
And speaking of Mr.
Speaking
Roland,
of Mr. Roland, we have an interview of the English teacher here. And this was taped by Bobby. Well, actually, no. Bobby Mermet actually interviewed Mr. Roland, and it was taped by Dave Tomlinson. And Mr. Roland speaks about being in a band and from the 80s, and 80s type rock and roll and all that stuff. He talks to us about.
yes, but eventually he felt too old to be in a band, so became,
He's not that
of
old.
all
He's a very
things,
nice
an
guy.
English teacher. So,
Yeah, he's a great teacher, actually. I've
heart
heard
reaches
raving
out to
reviews
him
about
for
his
that.
teaching skills.
but we're going to be going to that pretty soon.
Yeah.
And here we are.
What eventually happened to the band?
It exploded. Actually, it got silly. I got old, and I guess it was about 1995. Yeah, that's when I left, and I was on stage in Maryland for a college fraternity something or other, and there were thousands. Here I was, 32 years old, and I had the hair up and the spikes and the leather and the explosions and everything, and there were lots of drunk college kids just beating each other half to death in the audience, and I looked at them and I just thought, I'm just not this angry about anything in the world. So I kind of decided that's when it was time to stop. It was getting silly. So I stopped playing, and I don't really know exactly what happened after that. I think they tried playing for a while. The friendships that sort of started the band had worn out, so I didn't really see them too much after that. I didn't see them all after that, as a matter of fact.
Where are the members now?
Okay. Now we're going to be going to a taping of the Foreign Cuisine class, and I'm going to be introducing this one. Now this is a very interesting class where students get to cook interesting and foreign cuisine foods, and one thing that they cooked, that we're showing, is they cooked cream puffs. Now,
That's good stuff there.
not only do they cook the foods from these various countries, but they also get to learn about their cultures of several European countries such as France, Germany, and
Italy, obviously. Always Italy.
you actually took
Chinese,
this.
too.
Yes, you actually
Yeah.
took this class. didn't
Yeah,
you?
I did take this class last semester, and I had a lot of fun, actually. I loved eating all the food. And the only thing was, it was a really, really, really hard test. I mean, you really had to know what you were talking about within, the countries and all that stuff, and the
Yeah,
geography
like
and
what,
all
what
the foods.
language? I mean,
Well, actually, all the foods and all that stuff that you had to figure out, and that's what I what was hard about it, because I'm not really good at studying things like that.
Graciela, not good studying. Thank you very much for that. But now we're going to be moving on.
But I liked it. Oh, whoa.
Okay, we had a little problem there.
Okay, you just had a little problem with there. Sorry.
Now we're going to be moving on to Habitat for Humanity, which Graciela is going to introduce.
Yes, actually, Habitat for Humanity was March 4th, 2000, and this was taped at North Clinton Avenue in Trenton. Now, Student Council and
5 trips.
sets up 5 trips, and which are chaperoned by parents itself. And then the Habitat gets money from businesses, and they find volunteers to
Yes.
help us. Now, the Habitat itself, Habitat for Humanity, is that they go and they build a house, or they help build a house, and for people
low-income
that
families.
Yeah, for low-income families,
And
for people that have
For
not
this
enough
particular
money to
trip,
live.
one person that went on this trip
Was Jocelyn Jones, which was
yes,
in our
she
own
helped tape it,
TV.
and also
Yes.
Erica Hartman, who was in
Oh,
our
Erica
class.
Hartman, yes.
And
A
it
lot
was
of other people
It was
were in it.
chaperoned by Mr.
Mr.
Guazda.
Guazda. But there were other people there. There's Pat Alec was involved.
Jake Urbanski, but I
Andre
think it's a very
Miguel.
good cause. It's great for those guys to get out there and
Yeah,
help
I think it
improve
scores
the community,
points there.
help improve the community around you.
Yes,
Very
definitely.
good.
Definitely.
But now we're going to be moving on to the Yes field trip. And this field trip was run by Mr. Newman. It took place on the 25th of March at the Tollgate Elementary School. Now, it was taped by Justin Morrison, and we're going to be going to that clip pretty soon. But basically, the Youth Environmental Society, its goal is to help teach environmental science to younger kids. To really just
That's a good thing
let
for
them
the
know
future.
about environmental factors and what they can do to help not destroy the environment around them, and what they can even do to help
To
repair.
save it, help
And
them.
you know,
This
they-
is where we're going to be living for a long time.
and I think it's great for these high school kids to just get going and help. And some of the people
This
that
develops a lot of skills for the
Yes.
kids itself.
and some of the people that were involved in this trip is here on the left. You can see Leah Ellenbogen, and I also think Katie Jackson, our class vice president, also helped out, as well as Allison
Allison
Demby,
Demby,
who
which
was
is in our TV
yes,
section
our
right
television
here.
production class. Yeah, here's Katie Jackson helping out some kids. And I think we're going to be moving on pretty soon. And the next thing we have up is
I believe is an
An interview
interview
of
with
Mr.
Mr. Newman. And actually, I did the interview with Mr. Newman. And he speaks about, the Battle of the Bands and the YES program and things like that. Now, Mr. Newman is a social studies teacher, and this is his 2nd year here at Hopewell. And this was taped by Allison Demby, and I interviewed Mr. Newman.
and to our course.
My fondest memory was the fact that when they announced the winner, everyone just came over. Everyone from all the bands came over and shook hands with the winners and said, "Great job." And it was just very cordial. It was friendly, and it was really nice to see.
Sounds nice. How is now that you mentioned the YES before, how is the YES Club involved in the battle? And I guess how are you involved in this?
I help out Miss Widmer, who's the faculty mentor for YES, and I get involved with. I like environmental issues, so I've gotten involved with YES here at the school. YES sponsored the Battle of the Bands along with the senior class this year, and the point was to raise money to assist YES in doing some of the things, I guess some of their scholarship programs, and also assisting the senior class for some of their programs.
All right, now we're going to be moving on, as he was talking about, the Battle of the Bands. And this took place on March 10th, 2000, here at the Hopewell Auditorium. Yes, and the senior class helped organize and advertise and run it. Okay, we had small technical difficulties there, but Colin McDonough auditioned 10 bands and decided which bands would be allowed to compete. Only 5 bands
of them,
were
so
allowed.
there's half of the bands that were auditioned.
Yes, and
It's not
I think
good
this event
chance.
helped show the talent in our school, and the winner of the Battle of the Bands was
Silicone Rockstar,
which includes Joe Pruitt, Matt Stiers, Henry Guazda, and Sam Haar.
Yeah, actually, I've heard music from them.
Yes,
they're very
good
good.
band. And
Yeah.
this was taped by Allison Denby, member of our class, and we're going to be showing them performing now.
Actually, not
Okay,
really.
yeah.
That's not them.
No, we're showing the band.
They have the band. It's there are a few bands here that. Did you mention they get a cash?
Yes. The winner was Silicon Rockstar, as we said, which received a cash prize for first place.
Yes.
And some other people that were involved, and mainly were Mr. Newman, Mrs. Widmer, the Yes Club, and Henry Guazda. They all helped out a lot. I appreciate their help. And
Actually, Silicon Rockstar was Joe Pruitt and Matt Stiers,
I said it.
Henry Claus, and all those people. Now, Henry helped for that, didn't he?
yes, he was a big help. And now we're going to be moving on to the youth group retreat, which Graciela is going to
Yes,
introduce now.
the youth group retreat actually was taped by Matt Powell at from the St. James Church. Now this was at Camp Happiness in Blairstown, New Jersey. Some of the people that are in the youth group itself is Mike Tuesday, Jim Paulsier, Ray Altieri, Matt Powell, a lot of other people.
There was a Daniel Skevington.
Yes, Daniel Skevington there, Bobby Jackson.
Michael Rambam went by.
Yeah, definitely.
And
like a lot of these, this retreat is for people to get to know each other better within the group and become friends. Is what you want
from
to
within
do.
the group, and very good. And now
We
the
move
moment
on.
everyone has
The
been
moment
waiting
of truth.
for.
Now this is what we all want to see. Drum roll, please.
Okay.
Woo!
Switch the camera over to me. Okay,
This is.
that's right.
Go ahead.
Okay, caution, bad wrestling,
CBW.
which took place a backyard brawl, which takes place at the Arena des Swole, whatever that means, and
Now CBW is a small backyard wrestling federation.
Federation. That's right.
Now based in Pennington, New Jersey. Now a lot. Oh, what are you doing?
Of like 6 people. Now,
you guys are gonna kill yourself.
And these 6 people,
Well, no,
okay,
no.
include
There
Jacob
is Jacob
Affleck, who's coming.
one of the founders of
Yes,
CBW.
and also a member of our class, unfortunately.
Poor birthday. No, he's Jacob's
Other
in charge
unfortunate
of audio,
members
so
of
if you
this
guys hear
class.
glitches,
Other
that's who's in charge.
here's the paralyzer coming up, which
Oh.
wow.
Well, a lot of the other founders are Josh Robinson. Oh, you took it away.
who ran for president but was disqualified because
James
he changed his
Marcinek.
speech.
God knows who else.
Yes, and
We move on to.
we move on to a more, I guess, civilized event,
Civilized.
lacrosse. And we're going to be showing the varsity lacrosse team, which is going to the States and is coached by Mr. Seibel. And some of the players on the team include John Banks.
John Banks.
Someone wrote it down wrong. Jim Peters, Matt Coopy,
Peter Dolan.
Dan Lang, Kevin Mills, Chris Naskey.
Jay Consoley.
Wish I could see the bottom name.
Matt Murray.
That's right.
A lot of good players here.
Yes, lacrosse is a very interesting sport, which is
I'm
actually
a little afraid of it, actually.
which is actually invented by Native Americans hundreds of years ago.
How do you know that? That's pretty good, Noah.
Well,
Wow. I didn't
just
know that.
interesting fact that I picked up due to my super geniusness.
Sure, Noah.
Yes, and we're going to be showing a
Sure.
scoring sequence here, I hope.
Actually, don't say that. They've. Poor
We get to
thing.
see them. We
It's
get to
kinda
see them
scary.
trip and fall.
I didn't know they could go behind the goal, though.
Yes, they can go behind the goal, just like hockey.
I knew about
I think that
hockey.
was an American twist added in. But as you can see, it's a pretty violent sport. They need
Oh, they
goal.
scored. Good job.
Who told
That's
you it was
like-
going to be a scoring sequence? Me.
He did, but that's because he saw it beforehand.
Oh
Anyway,
no, it was my
the
psychic
next
abilities.
thing, I'm sure. The next thing that we go to is the track team. Now this is girls track, and the coaches are Mr.
Mike
Hamill,
Hamill.
Aaron Oldfield, Dean DeCook, Matt Keenan, and Mr. Aaron Eckernott. Now
Head coach being Mike Hansen.
Actually, Mr. Oldfield is the head coach.
Oh well.
Just to tell you.
Disregard what I
Disregard
just
what
said.
he said. Some of the students that are involved are Tiffany Rust, which I believe got Best Women's Player of the Year, or Senior Player, or something like that, in our class, and Laura Petrilla, which is Player and Academic of the Year for our class. Jessica Paul, Anna Nictus, Amanda Naney, Jackie Vicente, and many other girls that did very well this season. Now this is taped March 27th at the Timberlane track, and it was taped by Jocelyn Jones.
All right, and another great player on the
I used
team
to play
included
track.
Natasha Hansen, and well, that was the last thing we had for our program.
Yeah, I
we
hope
thank
everybody
you for watching.
had a lot
very
of
much.
fun watching the both of us.
Yes, particularly me, but
Oh, sure.
we're actually going to close our show
Our little
with,
show and with
clips from The Music,
The Music Man,
which was our play
our play
performance.
performance, and I hope you enjoy it.
No.